recording of a match that I did 2 days ago. It was a 7.7 game, and initially I thought it was going to be going really bad, and it went actually pretty good. So, without further ado, let's watch the replay. Now, in most situations, you get up tiered, you're generally not going to have a good time. You're going to die, you're generally going to get flanked, or you get heat FS constantly. And as German tanks, you don't really have much of a fighting advantage when you're up tiered that much. But, so here we go. I'm going to start the match, and going to hide a couple of these little HUDs and change it to player's view so you really get a good idea. So the match started out, I didn't really know it was 7.7 up until I saw the mouse, which wasn't exactly at this point, but I checked around, I'm like, okay, this doesn't look too terrible, could be a good game. So I continue to advance, just keeping a general eye on my surroundings as per usual. American tanks are fast, you normally see M18 Hellcats, and yeah, mostly M18 Hellcats. But I think it was at this point now that I looked over and noticed the mouse, and I was like, oh great, it's 7.7, I've been up tiered, this is going to be such a terrible match. Yeah, it was right here I saw him, and I was just cursing away, so I'm like, great, I'm not going to record this match, it's going to be bad. So I was like, okay, I will watch the flank, as that's normally what happens, so I keep an eye to my right, checking the right hand side, making sure we're not being flanked. But right here, I noticed a shot come in, and I was like, oh wait, what was that? So I advance out, trying to keep semi-straight and angled, but I saw the Mach 3, fired, thank God his turret was turned. That would have been an instant death if he had been looking at me. I would have been completely dead. So I keep advancing, making sure I'm getting out of the open, getting into cover, and checking my right once again, because throughout this whole match, I had the mindset of, we're going to get flanked. There's no way we're not going to get flanked. But here, I notice a shot again. So I check around the corner and notice the T-32E1, and I'm like, okay, he's not looking now, I'm going to quickly rush out, take a pot shot, and hopefully kill him. He noticed me, but thankfully, I took him out first. If I hadn't knocked out that ammo bit, I'm pretty sure he would have been able to get back into cover and shoot me back. But his buddy behind him, the T-29, which I kept a good eye on, he was looking at me as he knew I was there. But I kept checking to the right, checking to the left, making sure, as a German tank player, you need to constantly check your surroundings. If you're not checking your surroundings and driving forward, you're gonna die, 9 times out of 10. So I keep looking at him, trying to play the waiting game, trying to see who messes up first, but I saw him advancing, I saw his turret turn, I'm like, perfect, now's my chance. Drive out, shoot his lower plate. Thankfully, thank God, I killed his gunner. If not for that, he probably would have been able to take me out there. So I pull back out, knowing his gunner's down, try to find his lower glacis, and found it again and fired. He could have killed me there. He could have. But thankfully, I do believe I might have damaged more than just his gunner. Now, I heard an airplane, panicked, and I was like, oh great, I'm going to get revenge bombed. But it turned out just to be a friendly tank. Or airplane, I mean. So once again, just kind of watching my surroundings, like, alright, let's not die to a flank, checking my right again. You can kind of see my mindset of keeping an eye to the right. I noticed an E4 there that I saw a teammate die, so again, keeping a good eye out, checking the right, hopefully not getting flanked, as in most cases in this map when I've played, our teammates have generally let the right hand side go completely, and we've been completely flanked, encircled, and taken out. It doesn't take much on this map to have that happen. So I just mostly keep an eye on the right, checking down the corridor again, making sure there's no tanks coming, and or if there is, to take them out as promptly as I can. So I caught the M46 silhouette, so I quickly zoom in, see him, take a shot, knocked him out. If not for him having a wounded crew, I probably wouldn't have been able to take him out in one shot. That could have been a second shot required, and possibly he could have countershot and hurt me. But thankfully, once again, that didn't happen. So I keep an eye out, checking around again, looking down the corridor. And mostly this is where I bring up bring up the main point of when you're in a German tank and you've noticed you've been up-tiered to a 7.7 or any post-war, seeing any post-war tanks, hang back, keep an eye on what's in front of you, keep an eye on your surroundings, and also invest in some really good headphones. Having some good headphones with surround sound really helps you out with finding tanks and hearing them before you actually spot them. And I've had a few matches where I heard the tanks, prepped my gun in the right direction, and then they popped around the corner and I shot them. In most case scenarios, even if you're not spotted visually, if you can hear the tank before you see them, that also helps a great number in your performance. So again, I'm checking everywhere, looking behind me, checking to my right, really checking up high as well because I have been shot from there before. And right here, I caught the silhouette of the M26E1, and I checked down the corridor and line up my gun, take a pot shot, managed to hit him in the sweet spot, knocked out his entire turret crew. So I was hoping maybe I could beat his beat the reload and maybe get a second kill shot on him, but that didn't happen unfortunately. So I keep hearing some shots going off, checking around to my left, that's where they're coming from. Heard something to the right, so I checked over there. Kind of paranoid now, is like I heard a shot, don't want to get flanked, checking up high again. And this really is the life of a German tank player when you're up tier, is just always checking around you, even if you're in a heavy tank, as your armor generally means zilch. And I noticed too the M50 was taken out by the Maus, so I feel a little more comfortable hanging out like this and checking around. And I heard another tank near me too, which was actually one of our friendly tank destroyers. So you can kind of see I inch out a little bit as I saw the Maus advancing, and I'm like, okay, it's good to move out. If he's not getting shot at, then I don't think there's anyone to the right anymore. So again, I heard a gunshot to the left. I checked over, always generally checking the corridors to my left and right, making sure we're not getting flanked, or I'm not getting flanked or surprised. Keep checking every time I reach an open area or like an open pathway. I'm always checking again because the last thing you want to have happen is pulling out around a corner and having a tank there just saying, hey, what's up? And then kill you. So again, generally checking, looking, making sure I'm not getting flanked. Once I think it's okay, I advance more. Now here, even on the replay mode, you can see that the M46, I didn't notice him right away because he was behind a bush. So I keep advancing, I check to my left, make sure I wasn't getting flanked, and then I look back again to the forward, and then I notice the M46 just right now. So I quickly stop, take a quick shot, managed to take him out thankfully. I'm like, alright, we're good, the Maus is still alive, we're all set. But then I saw the Maus get taken out by the M48. Now here's where I thought it was the ass end of the M48. I don't actually ever expect, it looked a lot like the back end, so I was like, okay, hit his engine, set him on fire, and keep him there indefinitely until he burns down. But thankfully, it was his front, and I was like, oh, convenient. So thinking that now they're going to start advancing to the right because we mostly have the left flank to our own, I decided to go down this little corridor here and just generally get out of the way of the right-hand side as I would rather not be flanked. So before I pull out, I quickly check to my right, and I kind of adjust my tank a little bit because I kind of got stuck on the wall there. But I'm keeping an eye in front of me, as if I pulled out stupidly, I would have been probably shot by that T-29 without realizing it. So I saw the IS-3 shoot at something, so I inch out and adjust my camera, and sure enough, I saw the T-29 right there. Now, he took a pot shot, but I'm still waiting. But I figured he's looking at the IS-3, I can quickly pull out, take a pot shot at his lower glacis, but it was a little too high, so I missed it. So I'm like, okay, he's definitely going to be looking at me now. It's like, ooh, don't shoot me, ignore me. I noticed the M26 Pershing there just slightly, but I'm mostly focused on that T-29 right in front of me. So I'm just generally trying to maybe bait out a shot with my front armor, like, come on, you want to shoot me, while also keeping an eye to that M26, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to side scrape. This is always a valid tactic to use in this game, is side scraping. When you're still in the World War II era, it's really good to side scrape, but once you reach post-war tanks, modern made battle tanks, it's a bad idea. Also, try taking pot shot, missed. So I didn't know his gun breach was down at the time, but I decided to keep most of my side armor out so he could maybe take a pot shot at me and fire back. But after some time, I realized something must have been up or he was still reloading, so I pulled back out, taking a risk, and fired at him again, and thankfully took him out. Now I checked back to my right where I saw that T-29 last, and I'm like, okay, he's not there anymore. So I'm checking, kind of looking, not really seeing him, but still checking around. And then I saw that T-92 get pinged up from the plane, so I just kind of keep an eye on that. Also, I saw that explosion, saw the plane, and I panicked a bit. You can see me looking around like, oh no, 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 no. But instead, I decided to push the spawn with the rest of my teammates. At this point, I had no idea the enemies were out of tanks. I thought there was at least one or two left. So I pushed to the furthest end of the right-hand side. That way, if they tried taking the bridge over here, or they tried going to the rear bridge, I could at least keep an eye on them. But generally, so in the end, this was a really good game. It turned out really well, and as you can see that generally camping back and keeping an eye on a flank can be very good for your team. And I would say just by this game alone, always watch the flank if you're under tiered or if you're over tiered. If you end up being that one tank that's been up tiered, watch the flank. Generally, you can always help out just by doing that. If you can hold at least a small end of the flank to prevent enemies from countering you, you generally can help your team out a lot. And even if you do get overrun by tanks, you can ping it out on the map saying, hey, there's tanks over here, somebody keep an eye on that. But here in the end, we knew we won, firing off shots, and having a bit of fun. So in the end, the moral of this video is, if you're up tiered, check your flanks, watch the flanks, and you should be able to help your teammate out a lot. And I also hope you really enjoyed this video. My name is Katie Jackal, and have a great day.